Hi guys, stay with me and let's see how to achieve this style. So this is the outcome of what I did, and I'm going to show you step by step how I was able to achieve this. The first thing we want to do is to draft the basic bodice. So we're going to draft the basic bodice, and first I have left about 5 inches here. You can see my starting line, it's about 5 inches, so we're going to need the 5 inches excess I left. We're going to need it for the collar. We're going to come to that, and on the other side I left about 4 inches, and that will be useful for our lapel. So I left that because of the lapel. So we're going to kick start into drafting the basic bodice now. For the bodice, the first thing I'll mark is the shoulder measurement. So I'm going to divide the shoulder measurement by 2. So divide the actual shoulder measurement by 2 and mark on your starting line. After that, you want to mark the neck width. So you can see the style, you don't want the neck to be too wide, so I'm going to work with 2.5 inches here, as this is for a female, so the neck is not going to be too wide. I'm using 2.5 inches there. So I'm going to go back to the shoulder tip and go downward by an inch because I want to make a shoulder slope there. So after going downward, I'm going to connect from the shoulder tip, from the 1 inch I went downward to the neck width, and I'm going to have the shoulder slope done. You can see we have the shoulder slope, and for the neck width it doesn't really matter, but I'll go downward by 3 inches for the neck depth. The neck depth, I'll go downward by 3 inches, then connect from the 3 inches from the neck depth to the neck width, and I'm going to do that with this curve ruler. Once you're done with the neckline, the next step will be the armhole curve. So you're going to determine how deep your armhole is to be. You know how to do that. Some use the bust measurement divided by 6.1 inches. So just mark your armhole depth, and marking the armhole depth, I want to get a straight line from the shoulder to the armhole depth, and which make me to mark the shoulder measurement around the armhole depth. And once I'm done with that, I'll use my French curve to mark the armhole curve. To use the French curve, all you have to do is to let the bottom of the French curve to be on the armhole depth and the side of the French curve to be on the shoulder tip, and once it's balanced that way, you can just trace the shape of the French curve and you're going to have your armhole curve marked out. Now I want to mark the total length of the dress, so I'm working with a length of 16 inches. So my tape rule is placed at the middle of the shoulder here, so I'm going to mark 16 inches. In order for me to get a straight line, I'm going to move my tape rule to the starting line, then take the measurement of it, then use the measurement to mark on every other side I may want to mark. So in order to get a straight line, because if I just move to the next side here and mark 16 inches, the line won't be straight, and that is why I move the tape rule to the starting line, take the measurement from the starting line, then I can use that measurement on every other side starting from the starting line. And once all of this is done, I'll move to mark the under bust line and the bust line. So the under bust line here in my case is 13 inches. I'll mark on 13, and for the bust line I'm going to work with 10 inches because I'm not using anybody's measurement here, so I'm just coming in with my measurement. But these are real measurements which can work on real human. So I'm going to mark on those line, mark the bust line, and also mark the under bust line. So I'm starting with the bust line here, and you can see I am trying to get a straight line for the bust line, and after that I'll mark the under bust line, and that also should be straight. I'll move to the dart, and for us to take the dart, we're going to need the bust span measurement, which is the nipple to nipple measurement. So we're going to divide the nipple to nipple measurement by 2, and in my case I have it to be 3.5. I mark that on the under bust line. I'm going to do the same thing on the bust line, and also the same thing on the full length of what we are working with, which is 16 inches. We use 16 inches as the total length, so I'm marking 3.5 inches there too. And after that, I'll connect all these points together, all the 3 points together, so we have the bust span measurement marked out. And the dart is not going to be too much. I want to work with that of just half an inch. But before that, this is me trying to connect with a curve ruler from the bust line to the armhole, just to give it that princess that look. So we're going to go to the under bust and take out a total dart of half an inch. So our dart is of half an inch. I'm sure you're not going to see it with my ruler, so let me use the tape rule to take the dart. We're working with that of half an inch, that is 0.25 inch on one side and 0.25 inch on the other side. So I'm going to mark that, so which means the total dart is just half an inch, not up to 1 inch, not up to a inch, but half an inch in total, 0.25 on one side and 0.25 on the other side. I'll connect from the full length to the under bust line with my ruler straight, and from the under bust line I'll connect slantly to the bust line like this, and also on the other side like this, and we are done with the dart. You can then proceed to taking the body measurement. So you're going to take the under bust measurement, divide the under bust measurement by 4, and mark. But before you mark, you want to add the dart allowance you took out, but here the dart is just half an inch, so you're going to add half an inch before you mark. You can decide to add your same allowance to it on your pattern, that is, you want to add the same allowance before you transfer it onto your fabric, but mine, I'll just cut it without adding any seam allowance, so I'll add seam allowance upon transferring the pattern onto the fabric. You also take the measurement or the circumference measurement around where the dress is going to stop, around the total length on your customer's body, and divide the measurement you took by 4 inches. Add the dart allowance we took out, which is half an inch. Then you connect from the under bust line to the full length line, and it's going to be like this. So we're done with the basic bodice. We want to move to the lapel, which is why we are here, and the neckline. And before we do that, I want to reduce the shoulder measurement. You can see from this style that the shoulder tip of the dress does not stop, or did not stop on the shoulder, but rather it stopped before the shoulder. So I just minus an inch from the shoulder measurement, and I'm going to connect from the new shoulder measurement I just marked. Now I want to make a new armhole curve. Place your French curve on it and mark the armhole curve just like we did. Let the side of the French curve to be on the shoulder tip, that is the new measurement you are working with, and the bottom should be at the armhole depth. Then you mark. I'm using a marker here because this is the final work. This is the new armhole curve, and it's the final armhole curve we're going to be marking. Going to the lapel, you're going to decide how wide you want your lapel to be. So I want to extend the lapel out from the basic bodice, and for me, I want the lapel to be as wide as 3 inches. So I'm marking 3 inches here. So I'm going to extend the neckline to the new 3 inches I just marked. Then we connect to where the lapel is going to stop. So your lapel should stop on the bust line. So it actually depends on how you want to expose the bust. So but if you let your lapel to stop on the bust line, you're not going to have much of the bust exposed. But for your lapel to stop on the bust line, you have to go downward from the bust line by an inch because of the overlap. The two sides, we're going to overlap on each other, and you're going to have half an inch and an inch covered, and that is why we are going downward from the bust line by an inch. So before then, I want to mark half an inch, because that half an inch is what the both sides is going to overlap on each other, so I don't want much overlap. It depends on how you want yours, but for my overlap I'm working with 1/2 inch, and it's like this. I just want to mark the overlap out so you can see. And once you have marked the overlap, I want you to pay attention to this calculation. I mark the overlap to be 1/2 inch, and the both side is going to overlap on each other by 1/2 inch, and 1/2 inch plus 1/2 inch will be just 1 inch, and that is why I'm going downward by 1 inch from the bust line. So if your overlap you mark is 1 inch, then you should know that 1 inch plus 1 inch will be 2 inches, and you should go downward from your bust line by 2 inches. So that being said, I've gone downward by 1 inch, and I want to connect from the lapel. I just mark out the extension of 3 inches to the 1 inch I went downward, and it's just like this. So you may not want your lapel to be straight like this because I mark with a straight ruler. You may not want yours to be as straight as this. Then you should introduce a curve ruler to mark the lapel instead of using a straight ruler. Place your curve ruler on it just like this, then follow the shape. Then you're going to have your lapel not straight but rather curve as you want. After the lapel, I'll move to mark the collar, and for the collar we want to go inward from the lapel tip by 1 inch, or you want to go by 1.25 inches. So I'm going to go down inward by 1.25 inches, and I'm going to mark that just now. So marking 1.25 inches from the lapel tip, it's going to look like this. That is from the point where my collar will start from. From this point, I'll mark the same measurement I go inward by, which is 1.25 inches. So 1.25 inches is what I'm going to mark, and it's going to be slant like this. So I'm just stopping on exact 1.2 inches. Then I want to mark from the bust line to the neck line just like this to the shoulder. I want to mark like this. Now I'm going to place my ruler like this, then just mark a straight line, and it's going to be like this. I don't want to use my marker here because it's not like a final line, so I'm marking this line here. And after we mark the line, we're going to extend the collar. Remember, we are currently marking the collar. I'm going to extend the collar for that of the back. So this lapel is going to turn, and it's going to be on this new line I just mark here. It's not going to go beyond the new line I just mark, but we want to extend the collar for that of the back, because the collar from the front is what is going to turn and go around for the back. So to extend the collar for the back, you have to measure the neck line around the back. So measure the neckline. We don't have the back here, so you're going to extend. Because we are extending for the back, we have to measure the neckline. So the neckline for the back is just going to be as wide as this, but remember, it's not going to be straight, it's going to be deep like this. So the neckline for the back will be like this, in this shape. Then you can measure this shape around, so you can measure it to know what you are extending the collar by. So if you measure it and the measurement is around 3 inches, then you should know that you're going to extend not by 3 inches but by 3.5 inches, so that you can have some seam allowance. So this is me extending. I'm not working with any measurement here, but I'm just extending to the end of the paper, to the end of the pattern. So I'm going to extend this side too, but before I extend, I want to measure how wide the collar is so I can have a straight collar. So I want to measure it from this point here, and whatever it is, it should be ×2 of what your lapel is. So remember, our lapel is as wide as 3 inches, so this should be 6 inches because the collar will be folded into 2 and it's going to be back to 3 inches just as the lapel. So I just mark the midpoint of the collar, and once you have the collar folded into 2 and we have the lapel, everything folded into 2, you're going to see that the collar will be as wide as just as the lapel, because the lapel is not going to be folded but just turn to the right side of the fabric, but the collar will be folded. And after that, I just want to mark every point with a marker so you can see what we are working with before I cut out the pattern. So I'm going to mark the full length line with a marker and the body measurement line too with a marker, so that it can be obvious what we are working with, as these are the final marking and the final measurement we are taking. As I cut, let me tell you about this new application which is made for fashion designer, and the application is called StyleBit. StyleBit is an application designed specifically for fashion designer to help us manage and scale our businesses. So on this application, you can save your customers' measurements on this application, so you never lose your customers' measurement. You can save a male customer, you can save measurement for a female customer also, and you can choose to save your measurement in either inches or in centimeter. You can send invoice to your customer with this application. This application will send a polite invoice to your customer to help you remind them about any pending payment you are yet to receive from them. You can save orders on this application to keep track of your financial status. You get notified before any order overdue so that you won't disappoint any customer. You also get to know about the numbers of new customers you've gotten in the last 28 hours and 24 hours. Plus, you get access to a free fashion designer community where you can ask questions anytime you need help. I'll leave a link in the comment section to download StyleBit. Go to the comment section, click on the link, and you have StyleBit downloaded on your device. That being said, let's go back to our pattern, and I have the pattern cut out already. So I'm turning the lapel to the right face of the fabric, and as I turn the lapel, you can see that the collar is now being folded into 2. So before that, I want to add another color of pattern to it to bring out the beauty of the style, so that it looks like what we are actually working with. And this is it after adding another color of pattern to it. You can see how we were able to achieve this beautiful style. And the collar I extended at the back, this is what is going to be when you're sewing. You have to turn it, you should turn it to complete the collar for the back side of your fabric. So once you have the other side, they're going to overlap, then you turn both collar to the back, then you're going to join them together at the back in between the collar. So you know the collar is folded into 2, so the same will be in between the folded collar. So thank you for staying with me till the very end of this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and share this video so that others can learn from this. See you soon in my next video.